for the Premier League preview of Manchester City versus West Ham. As I say, these becoming harder and harder to make because it just doesn't feel that West Ham have got a win in them at the moment, let alone a draw up there. Loads of news at the minute. Obviously, the bad news about Jarrod Bowen, which I'll talk a little bit about later. But let's talk about Manchester City. Funny season for them. I do like Man City. I know when, a lot of pundits come out and they say, oh, we don't want Man City winning it, we don't want Man City winning it. But for me, anyone but Arsenal, I couldn't care, as long as Tottenham don't win it. As long as Arsenal and Tottenham don't win it, I don't mind Man City. I like Man City. I like their fan base. I quite like their fan base as well. So yeah, funny season for them, and I'm quite happy that Liverpool have sort of took over that mantra rather than Arsenal doing it. Because the last thing I want to see on Sky Sports or Match of the Day on the last game of the season is number 41 lifting that trophy. That will make me feel sick. So the fact that Liverpool hopefully will go on and win it takes the blow. Because it's usually like, oh, Man City will beat Arsenal and they'll fade off. But yeah, thankfully Liverpool look like they're going to take that on. Like I say, they're currently sitting in 6th and with 31.6 losses. To win a Premier League title, Alex Ferguson always used to say, really a maximum of 3, maybe 4 you'll get away with, but 6, very unlikely you'll win the league. I think they'll still push and get the Champions League, but I think the league title, even for a team of their pedigree and their, how good they are towards the end of the season, I think it's just a little bit too much for them now. They finally got a win after 5 without a win against Leicester. Again, Leicester, not a very good side. They finally beat them 2-0, Haaland getting a goal. Their big outs, as we know, Rodri's been out for a long time, such a crucial part of their team. But he's not just it, you could easily sit there and say, oh, it's because of Rodri. No, with a team of that much talent, Rodri coming out shouldn't be the be-all and end-all of it all. Stones is out, Diaz is out, one of the best defenders in the world. John Stones, arguably one of the best defenders who can step into midfield. Out, he possibly would have been Rodri's replacement for a while if he would have been fit. You've got players that are out of form and are coming to the end of their careers, like Walker just seems finished now, in my opinion. Foden not playing as well as he has, and I really like Foden. Silva, gradually coming to the end. Kevin De Bruyne still playing really, really well, but not being used as much. And that when De Bruyne's not in there, Haaland doesn't play as well. If it was any other club playing them, I'd say it's a fantastic time to play City, but it's West Ham. And we have got that soft underbelly again. We're a light touch. A lot of players don't look like they're that interested. I think they know that the manager's not going to be there probably at the end of the season or in a few weeks' time, in 2 games' time, if you believe what you read. But all rumours say now that Graham Potter has walked away and Michael Carrick is now the favourite. We'll see. We will know a lot more in 2 weeks' time, probably. We all know about how they play. Loads of possession, short passes, try to tire you out with the movement. Try to create goals through individual skill. They're very good at defending set pieces. When they are in losing positions, they still have that ability to come back in games. Very good at the long shots, attacking set pieces. They're very strong. The weaknesses this season, very rare. Defending against counter-attacks, defending against wing play, defending against the through ball and aerial duels. Again, they've got people like Ruben Diaz out, Rodri out. So it is not as, not as strong as it has been, but I still can't see West Ham getting anything. In terms of the formation, we know Pep likes to play the 4-1-4-1. With the injuries, I expect, apparently Ederson might be out in this game as well. Could be Ortega in goal, Lewis in, a right back, Akanji, Ake and Gardevo, who's a fantastic left back. Really, really like him as a player. Kovacic in the middle was a really top player. Again, not quite a Rodri, still a good job and probably would be a fantastic player for West Ham, but not as prestigious, But then the 4 that play in front of Haaland, Foden, Silva, De Bruyne and Savinho are capable of hurting anybody. So, they're still going to pop, And if you look at the results against them previously, you may as well just put 3-1 on. if you're going to put a bet on, put City to score at least 3 goals. Because 3-1 in August, 3-1 last season at their ground, 3-1 at London Stadium before that, 3-0 at their ground before that, 2-0 at our ground before that. The last time we took a point of them, an emotional game, obviously loads of emotion in the game, was the 2-2 draw, which was Mark Noble's last ever game for West Ham. So again, did that play a part in the game? We did play well that game, if I remember. Last time we beat him up there, I'm sure it was the Victor Moses one, when Victor Moses and I'm going to say Sacco or Antonio scored in that game. But listen, wins up there are rare. You know, I remember games, you know, 5-0, Roger the Relegator and things like that. Not a happy hunting ground and not a happy team to play against in general. You know, they're a tough old team to play against. So looking at us, guys, obviously the Bowen injury is a massive one for us. He's been the only one who looks like he could score a goal. I know some people were saying, oh, look, he's not the best player. He hasn't been our best player. He hasn't, but he's been our best goal threat. I agree with the comment that someone said, I can't remember if it was on the TikTok or on this, you know, that probably Fab or WANBISAKA has been our best player this season, which is a fair point. With the injuries, with the, you know, the doubtful ones and players that I don't think should play anymore, this is how I think we probably will line up. I think will be Areola in goal. I don't think Fab will be quite ready yet. Aaron WANBISAKA obviously, you know, right back, Kilman, and I think I would take Mav out for this game. I just don't think he can play in this system, and I don't think he's that good. I really don't think Mavropanos is that good. I would put Tobido back in. Emerson obviously at left back. The midfield, I'm not sure whether SOUCEK, I can't remember whether SOUCEK's still out or not for this game. But if he is, he will probably start. If not, it'll be Sola and Alvarez. KUDUS gets to play back in his normal position, and he's looking for a move. Shop window position, shop window performances, expect to see them. For as long as Jared's out, expect to see shop window performances from KUDUS. And if he does do that, that's good for us because it means his price stays high, and it also means that we're probably playing well, and you know, we might get ourselves up the table a little bit. Paquetá in because there's no one else, even though I don't think he's been playing well at all. Jimmy will get his chance again now on the left-hand side. And obviously, Fulkrug up front, you know, go and get a striker in. Please go and get a striker in the next couple of days. The one I am excited about, though, and I think maybe could be one of the first options off the bench now, is Guilherme. I thought he was fantastic when he came on against Liverpool. Listen, he only had a spell, and it's about having a moment in a game, and he did. You know, when he got his little chance, he got the ball, he, you know, pressed forward, took the shot, nearly scored. Surely, you know, they looked at that and thought, yeah, do you know what? He could be a danger. Again, I want to see him come on against a lesser team, and there ain't many of them in the Premier League anymore. But, you know, he should be one of the first choices to come off the bench now for me, in my opinion. I will go in the comments in a minute, guys. Just bear with me. I've just got one more page of notes. So I used to do this back in the preview, where I used to say records against Moyes. And I haven't done this for a while, and I knew that Lopetegui and Pep met a few times. It's actually 5 times. Pep has won 4 of those, and Lopetegui has won 1. So the actual win, so Porto beat Bayern Munich 3-1 in the first leg. I think it was of a semi-final or quarter-final of the Champions League. And then you scroll down the page, and then you read that in the second leg, Pep turned it around and beat them 6-1 in the return. So maybe it was an off day for Bayern that day, but they absolutely popped them the next game. So that's their record against. Right, into the comments, guys. Keep them coming in. I'll go for a little while. There's some good questions in there. Time to use the double winning youth. Yeah, mate, why not? This is where, you know, George Murphy maybe should have hung around. Mav is Roger Johnson Mark II. Haaland going to have a field day, I agree. I'd take 3-1 defeat right now. And who would be your captain? That's a great question. I didn't even think of that, actually, when I was writing my notes, that obviously without Bowen, there has to be another captain. Let me have a look. So out of my starting 11, just quickly check my notes again. Do you know what? I wouldn't be against giving it to WANBISAKA, you know. I think he'll probably give it to KILMAN because he's been his captain at Wolves. He wouldn't be my choice. That's not my choice. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, I'd probably either give it to WANBISAKA purely because of how he plays, or maybe Areola, or maybe, but again, it's a player that doesn't want to be there. Maybe someone like Alvarez purely because it might calm him down a little bit. I don't know. Either calm him down or ramp him up. What does he say? No matter how bad City have been, they are winning comfortably. Yeah, I agree, mate. Listen, I don't see anywhere that West Ham can do it unless we get lucky. You know, when you play teams like City and, you know, and this is City when they're on fire, you know, you've got to catch them on an off day. You've got to take your chances and you've got to ride your luck. And you've got to be playing fairly well yourself. West Ham are not playing well. Manchester City are slightly off. I don't think we'll get the luck. And I don't see who scores the goals. I really don't. KUDUS might get a worldie from somewhere. But apart from that, I don't see where the goals come from. Maybe SOUCEK gets a loopy header or something. Keep questions coming in, guys. Happy New Year. Oh, yeah, Happy New Year to you as well, guys. Sorry about that. Happy New Year, Luke, and all in the chat. Who do we get in Jan? It's hard now. You know, with BOWEN's injury and KUDUS probably having to stay now if they were looking for him to, you know, get money in. I don't know. Like, obviously, it would have been a striker for me. And I also would have liked to see a really good, athletic monster of a centre midfielder brought in. You see what KILMAN did against Liverpool. I want a midfielder that can do that. I want a midfielder that can pick the ball up deep or, you know, just on the centre circle and drive about 30 yards up the field. He don't have to be necessarily a goal scorer or anything like that, but he can get us upfield. The wingers can, you know, bomb in front, and then he can just have the simple pass. You know, we need a big athletic midfielder that gives us a bit of presence on that midfield because there's absolutely nothing there. You could argue we need two. You know, you could argue we need a better number 10 because Paquetá's not doing it. It's a hard one, mate. It's a hard one. What we got here? I'd rather spend no money in Jan and just see youth players recall Potts, recall Earthy, mate. I like George Earthy. I think I like what I've seen from George Earthy. I really do. Yeah, there's no major rumours out there apart from the Middlesbrough striker. Is his name Lalaf or something like that? Who scored a few? I think he scored about 9. He's the only one who has been linked quite heavily, and obviously with the Carrick rumours, maybe it'll be like a double situation. I don't know. I don't even know who's going to be our manager in 2 weeks, mate, let alone who the players are going to be. You know, they might have been talking to Graham Potter, who's gone, oh, yeah, go and get Evan Ferguson, blah, 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 get this one, and that will do me. Now, if you believe what you read with that Potter may have walked away, if they were talking to Carrick, which I really don't think they are, because I don't think we'll pay the money out, you know, Carrick might go, oh, I want this one, this one, this one. You know, the one thing I do like about the Carrick rumour, and any of these sort of managers that have got links to former clubs, I know you could look at Gerrard and Lampard, who have not been that successful. They have links to the former clubs like Manchester United. Manchester United are a bit of a basket case at the minute. They're not that great. But, you know, any sort of players that are not quite getting there, he might be able to go, oh, take him on loan, get him in the team. You know, Moisey used to do it when he was at Everton. You know, he used to pick up, you know, a lot of Man United players, bring them in, Darren Gibson, Philip Neville, to name a few. You know, they had that relationship. And whether, you know, Michael Carrick would have that sort of relationship with Manchester United, who you would expect to get back to their best in a year or so. Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. He'd get the club. one thing I'd love to see Carrick do, whether Joe's still interested in it or not, and again, it's a bit of a romantic in me, this, I suppose, is I think Carrick, if he came in, would be wise enough to know that he could get a couple of ex-West Ham pros in as coaches, and it would really just lift that morale. Uh, with Julian Dix, the room was, he was just a glorified puts the cones out or whatever. We know he did a little bit more than that, but you know what I'm saying? Seeing Julian there every week with Slavan was a great feeling. Julian was my hero when I was a kid. So to see him there every week, it's just that little bit of that. And, if it was, you had Carrick there, and let's assume, let's just pretend it's Joe Cole, for example, yeah? Joe Cole in there as a West Ham love. I don't think he'd quit his media duties, but I'm just plucking names out. How good would that be? How good would that be? Nolan should have been kept on for Lop's first season. Yeah, to ease that transition potentially, mate. But yeah, there is something in having some ex-West Ham in as coaches. I'm not saying they're the best coaches in the world, but they know the fans, and it's that go-between the fans. I don't know who Carrick's assistant is at Middlesbrough. Maybe one of you guys knows. Yeah. What about this one, right? And I'm not saying I want it. But someone made a really good point on TalkSport yesterday, right? So they're saying that Rooney maybe is not number one. Yeah, maybe he's not a good number one, but could be one of those guys that's a brilliant number two. So what if they said Carrick comes in and he brought in Rooney as his number one sort of coach, I don't know. Listen, I'm not saying Rooney's a good coach. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know whether he might be a great... But apparently Rooney is a fantastic man manager. He was good with the people of Plymouth. He was good with the players, taking them out and doing all stuff like that. Could Rooney play that role? This is not what I want. Please don't say, Luke, I can't believe you said Rooney. I'm just putting things out there. I'm just putting little bits in there. Little bits. Put Rooney up front. Carrick's assistant is Woodgate, and his brother Graham. Oh, what? Jonathan Woodgate, the ex-Leeds and Real Madrid. He was a good player, he was, before his injury. Don't see us paying for Carrick, plus see him long-term as Man United manager. Yeah, but I think he would need a year at a Premier League club, mate, before Manchester United go in for him. And, a link, where he could go is Tottenham. Because, again, I don't know whether Tottenham would take that gamble, but if Ange goes out of the cup in a couple of weeks' time, which they could, and they just, keep doing what they're doing, Ange could get sacked, and maybe Tottenham could go in for Carrick, and it'll be another one of them ones that we wish we would have got in when we did. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But yeah, there was... Again, I've been saying about Scotty Parker as well at times. Scott Parker... people got their doubts over him. He come out and said the stuff at Bournemouth, and, Bournemouth have ended up going on doing wonderful things, haven't they? But he's done a good job at Burnley there. They went down, they lost their manager and company. I think they're in sixth, maybe fifth, maybe sixth. They play really good football. West Ham cult hero, 3-time Hammer of the Year, kept us up by himself. And there's one thing you cannot deny with Scotty Parker is passion, absolute passion. But I know some people are a bit against that. People will say to me, who do you want, Luke? It's the same as everyone wants. They either want Marco Silva, who we're not going to pay for, and Iraola from Bournemouth. We're not going to pay for him. We have to deal with what we got. It's not right. I'll get behind anyone for the start. I did with Lopetegui when he first come in. I sort of 8-9 games, and it was like, I'm not seeing anything here. I'm not seeing any change here. But yeah, if it is Potter, if it is Carrick, if it is whoever, who knows? Parker would not work under Sully, would end in tears. Yeah, I think so as well. The thing with, I think if David Gold was still around, I'm sure, I can't remember if it was David Gold or Sullivan, I think it was Gold, that used to say that he had a picture of Scott Parker in his office, like behind him. So obviously, he was loved and respected by by the fan base. Obviously, just went to Tottenham. Understandable at the time, had been relegated. It was his dying dad's wish. I can understand why he did it. And yeah, that's a job at the end of the day. Here's a job. All this stuff about Trent Alexander at the minute, the Liverpool fans getting up in arms about it. It's a job. As much as we were all wound up about number 41 going to Arsenal, it's a job. It's a job. I can't stand Declan Rice anymore. I can't stand the geezer. I don't want him to win anything in his career now. I know that's bitter, pathetic, and move on, Luke. But I can't celebrate that man winning anything. A football team to a fan is more than what a football team is to a player. It's very rare that you get a Mark Noble, you get a Trevor Brooking, you get a Billy Bonds who played for Millwall, but played like it was life. We haven't had a player like that for a while since Mark, and it's a shame that football has gone that way. It really is. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. 20 minutes preview and a little Q&A with you. I'll be back with the dreaded review after the game, which is probably going to be an absolute massacre. Enjoy the darts tonight. It's been great, and it Luke Little. I really wanted to go on and win it as well. Until next time, guys, hit the like button before you leave. There's a few of you in there. Just do that before you leave. A little like. Until next time, come on your irons. Keep believing. Let's go.